If you are the type of person who declutters every once in a while only to accumulate more stuff and then get overwhelmed and have to declutter everything else again, keep watching, because today I am sharing easy habits that will make decluttering so simple. I don't believe in decluttering for the sake of it. Decluttering is something that I take actually very seriously, and I try to do sparingly, because less than 20% of what we declutter and send to donation bins to our charity shops doesn't even end up at the charity shop. Most of it gets baled up and shipped away to the global south, and then they have to deal with our clothing waste. I know so many of you are conscious about this as well, so I really hope this video helps you find peace and effortlessness in decluttering, as well as in editing your own closet. Decluttering becomes so much easier when we are so much more intentional about what we bring into our wardrobes. A few ways to cut that over shopping or overspending habit at the source is to use a shopping wish list, where if you see something, you don't buy it right away, you don't even consider buying it right away, you put it on your shopping list and leave it there for at least 24 hours. Depending on your relationship with spending and buying clothes, you could make this longer, 48, 72 hours. Maybe you give yourself a week. That's up to you to decide, but the simple act of putting an item on a wish list rather than directly adding it to cart or bringing it to the cash causes friction, and it replaces the emotion that we feel when we're making a purchase with consideration. If you don't like the idea of using a list, simply put a 24 or 48-hour wait rule before you make a purchase. Usually when we add something to a list or force ourselves to wait a little bit and give ourselves that space to really think about that purchase, 9 times out of 10, we don't end up buying it because it's not really something that we love. I believe I have an entire video on all the ways that you can slow down your shopping. I will leave that up here for you. My third and final tip for creating this habit of limiting what you bring into your closet from the beginning is to have a series of questions that you ask yourself before you shop. I have an entire video that lists the questions that I find the most useful. I will leave that up here for you. These questions are another source of friction and another layer of consideration that you can add before making a purchase. I got this idea from James Clear, the author of the book Atomic Habits. I just love this book. It's so good. I will link it down below for you if you're interested in reading it. He told the story of someone who had this habit of resetting the room before he left it. That way, when this person re-entered the room, everything was perfectly placed. It was a beautiful, peaceful zone to walk into. I loved this idea. How many of us have a chair, a hook, a bench at the bottom of our bed, and when we're really tired at the end of the day, we just throw our stuff on it and it just piles and piles and piles up and becomes this giant closet monster? I mean, I think this is totally normal. If you can get into the tiny habit of simply putting your clothes back, game changer, let me tell you. And then we'll all make our mothers proud, right? It's great. It's like a win-win. I'm not saying that you have to reset your closet so that it is perfectly merchandised, but I am saying that if our clothes are hung up properly and folded and put away and things put back where they belong, then the next time we want to plan or create an outfit, we've already set ourselves up for success. We're already laying a good foundation to be open-minded and creative and feel good about the clothes that are already in our closet, rather than looking at a giant mess and being frustrated, because that's often the first trigger that leads us to believe we have nothing to wear. I've mentioned this several times before on the channel because it bears repeating. It is such a valuable tool. I always find that when I spend time with my clothes, it reminds me how much awesome stuff I have in there. It also builds a little database in the back of my mind. So if it's, you know, the 4th or 5th time in a month that I've pulled something out of my closet and decided I'm really not into it, I put that aside as a contender to be decluttered, and then I don't think about it. I find when we put so much time aside to do a declutter, that can be a lot lot of pressure because we feel like we have to have some sort of productive outcome. But if we're just doing this on a regular basis, then it becomes really intuitive. And this habit also informs your ability to stop the cycle at its source. When you pick up a piece at the store that you might want to buy, you'll have a better understanding of whether this is an actual gap or need that you need to fill, and also if it's something that you really do like. The other half of being your own editor is to have a designated spot in your room or near your closet for these maybe items. You can revisit and make a final decision on that item at a later time. What I like about this maybe method is you've got so much data of being able to create outfits without that piece. It just gives you more information so that you can make a more confident decluttering decision. If you really struggle with those keep or let go items, or if you struggle with restyling those maybe pieces to see if you really want to keep them, my next live Shop Your Closet event is all about decluttering. We'll be talking about the decision process and how to let things go. We'll do it with the help of 2 guests. We'll shop their closets for some looks. And although you're not on camera, we send out inspiration images before the event so you can do a little bit of homework and submit those images, and you just come out with a ton of outfit inspo. If you're interested in that, I'd love to have you. I'll leave all the details in the description box below. I don't really do a huge declutter often. I really subscribe to the intuitive method of editing often, but I do have to take a look at that maybe pile every now and then. And when I have to do that, I try and set myself up again for success. Easy ways to set yourself up for success are like putting on some music. Maybe you've got a nice candle that you want to burn. But the truest luxury, in my opinion, is knowing that you have the time to do this. So whether you block a half hour or an hour off with yourself, tell your family members or your roommates that this is what you're doing. Try and find childcare if you're a mom, or call a friend. Lots of people end up calling me for their decluttering sessions. We end up having a blast and coming up with a lot of new outfits, but sometimes you just need that validation, and it's nice to do it with a companion. So that is what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed those tips. I hope you find them easy. Let me know if there are any that you already do, or if you give them a try and you find success. Come back and tell us in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so grateful that you're here. Don't forget, I have those tickets to the next live virtual Shop Your Closet. It is all in the description box below. I hope to see you there. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your week or evening, wherever you're at, and I will see you in the next slow fashion video. Ciao.